Pay homage to the Samma Sambuddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times before we start our Dhamma talk. Namo Tassa Bhagavatu Arahatu Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavatu Arahatu Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Dear brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, today also we are going to discussing chapter 4, Kamanang Adinava Kata, danger of sensual pleasure. I think, do you remember, we already discussed Devaduta Sutta, the divine messenger, and Mahadukkhakanda Sutta, the greater discourse on the mass of suffering. Today our title Attipunja Sutra, the discourse on heap of bones. Yeah, actually the someone say Eka Puggala Sutta also. They give another name, Eka Puggala Sutta. Okay, now today I think we have to discuss two sutta, Attipunja Sutta and Pa-Auk Sutta, the discourse on the resident of Pava, the 30 bhikkhus from Pava, no? This two sutta we have to discuss. Okay. Okay, now first of all, Attipunja Sutta coming from Saṅyukta Nikaya under the Anamatagga Saṅyukta. But anyway, that sutta included under the Suttasaṅgaha. This one also one of the example about the danger of sensual pleasure and the danger of the samsara. How we get fear after remaining samsara. This is a meaning. Anyway, the Ekan Samayam Bhagava Rajagahe Viharati Gijjakote Pabbate. On one occasion, the blessed one was dwelling at Rajagaha on Mount Vulture Peak. Tatrapo Bhagava Bhikkhu Amantesi Bhikkavoti. They are all blessed one addressed the bhikkhus thus. The blessed one addressed the bhikkhus thus bhikkhavoti, bhikkhus. Bhadanteti te bhikkhu bhagavato pachasosum bhagava etatavot. Bhikkhus, venerable sir, those bhikkhus reply. And bhagava etatavocha, the blessed one said this. I think, do you remember, no? Because who is, have you been to India, especially in the Rajagaha, the Gijjakota mountain, the hip of the mountain, they had Lord Buddha's dwelling place, dwelling kuti. You can say the Sugandha kuti, fragrant kuti also there. So we know the place. Why they say Gijja Kota? Gijja, their commentary say commentary say the Pabbatassa Gijja Sadisam Kutang Atti, the of the mountain, hip of the mountain, just like a vulture peak, the vulture peak. That's why they give the name Gijjakota. Actually, around the Rajagaha, there are few mountains. Gijjakuta Mountain, Vepulla Mountain, Isigili Mountain, Vebhara, the Panda Mountain, etc. There are a few mountains. Because the Rajagaha, there is Rajagiri. The Giri is a mountain. This city covered by the mountain. That's why we call Rajagaha. And the Rajagaha, in other words, the king of the outside, maybe there's some the enemy, they cannot occupy this city. They're very safe because of the mountain. Everything safe. This is the meaning Rajagaha. Anyway, our Lord Buddha was left on the Rajagaha on the Mount Walsh peak. At that time, Lord Buddha addressed the monk to explain one thing regarding the samsara. Anamatagoyam bhikkhave sansaro pubbā kotina paññāyati avijja nīvaranānaṁ sattānaṁ tanhā saññojanānaṁ sandhāvitam sansatta. The Blessed One said, the bhikkhus, this samsara is without discoverable beginning. We cannot see the beginning of samsara. Cannot cover. A first point is not discern of being roaming and wandering on hindered by ignorance and fettered by craving. Because why the beings roaming and wandering in the samsara? There are two reasons. One reason, avijja nivaranana. Avijja nivaranana. The hindered by ignorance, because of hindrance. Because of avijja, the hindered of by ignorance, and tanha sanyojanana, fettered by craving. Because of the ignorance and craving, because of ignorance and craving, we are travel to the samsara, life to life, going and coming continuously. One day, if someone can cut off the ignorance and craving, at that time he can stop the samsara life. He can stop the samsara life. Anyway, what is the meaning samsara? Actually, samsara, they have a commentary, the Pali Gatha. One of the Pali Gatha, Brother JJ is there, can type. Khandanam patipati dhatu ayatananicha abbocchinnam vattamanam sansaroti pauchyati. Khandanam patipati is a sansara we call. They are continuously going the aggregates, life to life aggregates, khandana patipati and dhatu ayatanancha, element and bases. Abbochinna vattamana, without breaking, continuously going. It's called samsara. Now, because the samsara, the being, the except I am the monk, the other one, the male or female, but the monk not reborn again, but the aggregates, bases and elements, they are continuously going. This is we call samsara. It is the paramatta, not the sammuti. This is paramatta mean. Anyway, the samsara is without breaking, without stopping, but can bring the wandering the aggregates, bases and elements. It's called samsara. Okay. Then the why the Lord Buddha mentioned the samsara is a anamata go, cannot discover. Why? Because we don't know how long ago we came to the samsara. We don't know exactly. We cannot measure. Exactly, don't know. Now, do you know our bodhisattva? Our bodhisattva start to fulfill parami by mind. First of all, by mind. After receive prophecy from the mother, because one day our Bodhisattva is a merchant, and he traveled overseas with ship. At that time, he brought his mother also. On the way, because of the weather, bad weather, they broken the ship. At that time, he protect his mother. Continues 7 days. He swim in the ocean, in the ocean until the bend of the ocean. At that time, mother give the message, give the blessing for him. My dear son, you will be the Buddha to protect not only one mother, many of the being in the world. From after that, he start to think, I want to fulfill the parami, to be the Samma Sambuddha, to get the enlightenment. And he start by mind, how long? 7 asankheya. 7 asankheya. During that period, he already met 100,000 and 25,000 Buddha. Yeah, 125,000 Buddha he already met. Okay, 125,000 Buddha he already met during that period. After that, he start to fulfill param by verbal, by speech. During that period, there are 9 asankheya. 9 asankheya. During that period, he already met 300,000 and 87,000 Buddha. 387,000 Buddha during that period. You see, after that, he received the definite prophecy. From definite prophecy until this life, 4 asankheya and 100,000 kappa. During that period, he already met 24 Buddha. Now the meaning, we don't know exactly our sansara is anamataggo, difficult to cover. This is the without discoverable, the beginning. We cannot see the beginning of this our life. So this is the nature of the samsara. But anyway, we have to know what is the cause of the samsara. What is the reason? What is the main cause? Why being always traveling and roaming in the samsara? Because of the hindrance and because of the craving, avidya and tanha, which is a very important thing. And after that, Lord Buddha want to explain the one example for the understanding of the samsara. Ekapuggalasya bhikkhave kappan sandhavato sansarato siya evang maha atti kankalo atti punjo atti rasi yatha yang vepullo pabbato Suttasaṅgaha assa sambhatancha na vinasseya. The meaning, the one person roaming and wandering unhindered by ignorance and fettered by craving would leave behind a stack of bones, a heap of bones, a pile of bones as large as this Mount Vepula. If there were someone to collect them, and what is collected would not perish. Now you see, because the one person during the one kappa, we don't know how many times he reborn, how many times he get the life. Sometimes animal, sometimes the human, etc. So during the that period, if someone going to collect his bone, only collecting the bone, okay, and the slowly he collect the one place. Maybe during the one kappa, his bone, the heap of the bone, just like a the bigger than the Vepulla mountain. Bigger than the Vepulla mountain. Now I think do you know the biggest and the highest mountain in the Rajagaha area? Vepulla. Vepulla is the biggest and higher mountain. Because if someone they can collect the bone of the one being, and the during the one kappa, his bone he become the bigger than the Vepulla mountain. You see, because now the how many times we are appearing, how many times we are appearing, we don't know. Actually, the one of the history during the Buddha's time, one of the lay Upasaka devotee, his name Upasalhaka. Upasalhaka. One day he taught to his dear son, dear my son, after I did my dead body, you should cremate, and you should find a place, the pure place. No one put down. No, because the without other cemetery or other dead body, you have to find the pure place. At that time, that son, he went to the forest. He saw the very big banyan tree, the cover by the very big area, and he thought, oh, no one put underground under this banyan tree, because the very long, the very the old age, all this banyan tree. Better I remove and I put my father's dead body. Actually, our Lord Buddha used to stay beside of the tree, and the Buddha asked, "Dear son, what are you doing?" He mentioned everything. At that time, Lord Buddha mentioned, "Dear son, your father, not only this life, many life, like 12,000 times, they already put down under this tree, this area. At that time, the father's name Upasalaka. Every life get the Upasalaka name. But without Upasalaka name, many of the 100,000 times put the this area. You see, the every earth, every solid we can say cemetery, no. But nowadays we are thinking that this area no cemetery, no cemetery like this. But everywhere we are our life already burned or put in the ground. That's why the samsara life is very dangerous and very difficult to stop, very difficult to understand. Without Buddha's teaching, we cannot understand. We cannot see. Even though our avijja, our ignorance is very strong, very powerful. That's why we cannot see our past life. If you can read your past life, then you are not going to stay this life. So you don't want to enjoy the life. You don't want to get many things. You want to get the free from this life. This is the meaning. But anyway, the Lord Buddha give the one example. For what is the reason? Tankisa hetu. What is the reason? I mentioned anamatagoyam bhikkave sansaro pubba kotina panyayati avijja nivarananam sattanam tanha sanyojananam sandhavita sansarata. Because this sansara is without discoverable beginning, first point is not discerned of being roaming and wandering unhindered by ignorance and fettered by craving. Okay, this is a reason. We are bhikkhu or we are Buddhist. Everyone, if someone want to cut off the life, cut off the sansara, you should cut off the defilement first. Without cut off the defilements, you cannot cut off your life, because sometimes nowadays many of the people if they are not happy their life, if anything happen for life, they think better is suicide. or better we die. After die, we cannot see anything. Like this, they have this is also the, I cannot say this is good thinking. This is bad thinking, no, bad thought. Why? Well, after suicide or after killing your life, or you again reborn. Again, you can get again happening in the future life also. Again, same happening. That's why if something happen, come to your life, maybe there's some suffering or sorrow or lamentation or whatever. At that time, you should understand what is the cause of the suffering, especially avidya and tanha. Better way to cut off the avidya and tanha. Without cut off the destroy the avidya and tanha, we cannot destroy the samsara. Okay, this is that's why Lord Buddha mentioned what is the reason. What is the reason for this happening? Because of the avidya and tanha. Avidya and tanha is important thing. Evam, the Lord Buddha mentioned after they explain, evam digarattang vo bhikkave dukkhang pacchanubhutang, tibbam pacchanubhutang, biesanam pacchanubhutang, katasi vaddita yavanchidam bhikkave alameva sabba sankharesu nibbinditum alang virajyitum alang vimochitum. It's very good advice. For such a long time, bhikkhus, you have experienced suffering, agnish and disaster, and swelled the cemetery. It is enough to experience revulsion towards all formation, enough to become dispassionate towards them, enough to be liberated from them. Okay, now because we always how to say every life, no, every life we experience, we have the experience of suffering, dukkham pacchanubhutam, because this dukkha is tibbam, the very strong dukkha, and the vyasana, the different type of suffering, and the katasi vaddita, and we susana, we can say the experience the swell the cemetery, because our dead body, after passed away, when we cremate or we put on the ground, and then our physical body become the soil, become the soil. That's why every life or the life to life we make like this. That's why at that time you have to understand alameva sabba sankharesu nibbidditum, enough to experience revulsion towards all formation, because the sankhara, all formation, all type of formations giving you have to get the experience, because all sankhara is impermanent, suffering, non-self, no, cannot be the permanent, cannot be the happiness, cannot give the happiness, cannot be the itself. All the formation become the impermanent, it become the suffering and become the non-self. Okay, this is a meaning. And alang virajyitum alang vimuchitum, because of that your mind become the very smart and very sharp to practice sankhara, to see the formation, to see the truth of this formation. At that time you are going to give up all the formation. You are going to give up, and I don't want to get, and this way the virajitu, dispassionate, and your mind and your life become enough to be liberated from them. Yeah, that's why this is a meaning. Idam ocha bhagava idam Dristvana Sugato Ataha Param Etada Vocha Sattva. This is what is the blessed one said. Having said this, the fortunate one, the teacher further said this. Okay, they are explained some Kali Gata. Ekassena kappena puggala satti sanchayo siya pabbata samo rasa iti uttam mahesina. This is first Gata. The heap of bones one person left behind with the passing of the single eon would form a heap as high as a mountain. So said the great sage, the Lord Buddha. And now see, next kata, Soko panayang akkahato ve pullo pabbato maha uttarogijja kotasa magadhanam giribaji. This is declared to be as massive as the tall Vepulla mountain, standing north of Vulture Peak in the Magadha mountain range. You see, because the Vepulla mountain is the biggest, higher mountain of Magadha mountain range. Okay, Magadhana Giribaji. After that, they are giving the Dhamma talk, giving the good experience. Yatova Arya Satchani Sammapanyaya Passati Dukkang Dukka Samupadam Dukkasacha Atikkama Ariyam Chattamikam Maggam Dukkupa Samagamina. Now, see, they now explain about the Four Noble Truths. No? But when one sees with correct wisdom the truth of the Noble Ones, suffering, and it is origin of suffering, the overcoming of suffering, and the Noble Eightfold Path. Now you see, what is the suffering? What is the cause of the suffering? What is the cessation of the suffering? What is the way to lead the cessation of the suffering? Now, this way, the suffering is a dukkha. No? Now, we know about the different types of dukkha: sankara dukkha, sankara dukkha, parinama dukkha, jati dukkha, jara dukkha, vyadi dukkha, marana dukkha, soka dukkha, parideva dukkha, upayasa dukkha, piya appiya sampayoga dukkha, piya vipayoga dukkha, sanketena panchupadana dukkha, etc. There are a lot of meaning of the suffering. The physical pain and mental pain also dukkha. And the always this pain, the changing, the weather is changing. This is a viparinama dukkha. And whatever formation, always giving the suffering, sankara dukkha. And by the birth of the dukkha of the birth, the jati, and the aging, the jara, and the sickness, vyadi, death, marana, and the sorrow, lamentation, everything also suffering. And the disassociating the good friend, the associating the bad friend also suffering. The whatever good person, when they are go away from us, and that is also, it is also suffering. And whatever we need, whatever we like, whatever we wish to get, everything we cannot get our life, this is also suffering. And anyway, briefly, the five clinging aggregates also, it is suffering. This is the lot of the meaning of the suffering. Now, what is the cause of the suffering? Especially the main cause is tanha, craving. And not only tanha, but the mainly tanha and avidya, tanha, upadana. Three fetters, three defilements. Avidya is ignorance, tanha is craving, upadana clinging. Because of the avijja, and automatically tanha and upadana are arising. Because of three defilements, always creative, the kusala and akusala karma, always going to cultivate the formation, sankhara. Because of the sankhara, giving the new life, maybe the next life. They are prepared. They are because the power of the sankhara, power of the karma, giving the next life. This is that's why the the tanha is a main cause for the to get the suffering. Okay, tanha. And about the nibbana is a liberation. Liberation is a nibbana. So overcoming of suffering, free from suffering. And when you are going to seize the nibbana, the peaceful and calm stage of nibbana, at that time you're already overcoming of the suffering. And what are the eightfold paths? Briefly, eightfold path is sila, samadhi, and panya. Morality, concentration, and wisdom. The morality, there are threefold path. Samma vacha, samma kammanta, samma ajiva. Right speech, right action, and right livelihood. These three fold path. Three path we call sila aggregate, the sila kanda, sila aggregate, the morality aggregate. Because of the morality, very easy to develop your concentration, the samatha way or vipassana way. The concentration means samma vayama, samma sati, samma samadhi. There are three path factors. Samma vayama, right effort. Samma sati, right mindfulness. Samma samadhi, right concentration. There are three path factors we call the samadhi kanda. The concentration aggregates. And about the panya, there are two path factors, samma ditti and samma sankappa, right wisdom and right thought. These two working just like a panya aggregates, wisdom aggregates. Okay, now you have to understand the when you are practicing a noble eightfold path, then very easy to reach to nibbana, and the same moment very easy to understand what is the suffering and what is the cause of the suffering. Okay, that's why the Lord Buddha mentioned after listening this about this sutta, Attipunja Sutta, you should focus to understand the Four Noble Truths, to get the experience of Four Noble Truths in this life. This is the meaning. Anyway, the last gatha, sa sattakattu paramang sandhavitvana puggalo dukkha santakaro hoti sabba sanyojana kayati. Then the person having wandered on for 7 more times at most make an end to suffering by destroying all the fetters. Okay, because who is going to understood three the fetters first? Sakkaya Ditti, Vicikiccha, Silabhata, Paramasa. Sakkaya Ditti means itself. Vicikiccha, doubt. Silabhata, Paramasa also Ditti, their own way. When we are practicing the deep vipassana stage, at that time, slowly by slowly, you can reach to the Sotapatti Magga and Sotapatti Phala. The Sotapatti Magga can cut off the three fetters, Sakkaya Ditti, Vicikiccha, and Silabhata Paramasa. In the same moment, he can cut off the 5 akusala chitta, Dittigata Sampayutta 4 chitta, and one of the Vicikiccha chitta. Okay, so anyway, Issa, Machari, Kukkuch, 3 defilement also can cut off by Sotapatti Magga moment, according to the Dhammasaṅgaha commentary also mentioned Issa, Machariya, and Kukucha. 3 defilements also can cut off in the Sotapatti Magga moment. Anyway, after become Sotapatti, he having wandered on for 7 more times at most, because his life all the maximum is 7, cannot appear more than 7. Make an end to suffering by destroying all the fetters. During that period, he going to get the end of the suffering after destroying all the fetters. This is a Attipunja Sutta meaning. We can go to the next sutta. The next sutta is yeah. Next sutta is a Pa-Auk sutta. This one also under the Anamatagga Samyutta, comes from the Samyutta Nikaya. Tinsa Matta Sutta. The Pa-Auk means the discourse on the resident of Pava. And the one other name, Tinsa Matta Sutta, 30 bhikkhus, sutta of the discourse of the 30 bhikkhus. Because now this one also the how to say, the different different explanation. How's the word? Those are the 30 bhikkhus after journey of the Varanasi, and our Buddha coming to the Uruvela city, Uruvela place nearby the Buddha Gaya. But there are 3 brothers, 3 ascetic brothers. They are practicing around area. One is Uruvela Kassapa with 500 group. Nadi Kassapa with 300 group. Gaya Kassapa with 200 group. They total, there are 1,000 ascetic monks. They are practicing. Then before come there, on the way, our Buddha made the 30 princes. 30 princes. Those are 30 princes. After listening Dhamma, they all are become the noble. All are become noble. No one arahat there. Someone become Sotapatti. Someone became Sakadagama. Someone became Anagama. No Putujjana, no arahat. Then after the 30 bhikkhus, after received the Ehi Bhikkhu Upasampada, become a monk, and they went to the Pava city. He stay the Pa-Auk forest monastery to practice continuously. How they are practicing, they are explaining. Anyway, the Rajagaha in the bamboo grove, the 30 bhikkhus from Pava approached the Blessed One, all forest dweller. Now see, they are practicing Aranyika. They are now, you know, the fasting method, one of the Dutanga. Dutanga meaning if someone want to torture your life, torture your body, torture defilement, you should practice the fasting method. Just like fasting method, the Dutanga. After practicing Dutanga, very easy to fight with defilement, very easy to cut off the defilement. That's why many of the bhikkhus, after understood the Dhamma and right path, they're always going to practice the Dutanga. There are, I think, the 13 method, 1-3, the 13 method. Mahakassapa during the Buddha's time, he was practiced all the Dutanga. Okay, he's a great person, the Mahakassapa, and they practice all Dutanga. Not only Mahakassapa, but many of the bhikkhus practice many of the Dutanga. That's why that suttas mentioned the Pa-Auk bhikkhus also practicing Aranyika, the forest dweller. And sabbe pindapatika, all food, alms food eater, because they are always going pindapata, and they are house to house to collect the pindapata. They are not going to accept the monastery food. If someone bringing the food for the monastery, they don't want to accept. Just they are following the pindapata practice. Sabbe pansukulika, all red rope. Red rope means that they're using the maybe the not so nice their rope. Maybe sometimes dirty, sometimes not enough color. Sometimes very old, and they had a hole also, and the many things happen. But anyway, there's some bhikkhus very much like to practice that dutara. They don't want to accept the people's offering. They would like to accept the someone after throw some cloth. They also want to get from the cemetery, from the road, anywhere, and they also like to sew the chivara by himself and to wear also this chivara. This is also one of the dutanga. We call the pansupulika. Sabbe te chivarika, triple rope user, because the bhikkhus must use the maximum 3 chivara, double rope, upper rope, and inner rope, with the 3 ropes. Because the three ropes, according to Vinaya mentioned, enough for the one bhikkhus. No need extra one. But someone want to use the extra, they have the way to understand. But anyway, nowadays still we are taking the Katna free. We have the Katna free village, no, Katna free village. Because of that, we can use whatever you like. Many of the children you can use. But anyway, who is practicing Dutanga, but the Te Chivarika, they don't want to accept the 4th one. Don't want to get the 4th Chivara. Enough for 3. Okay, that's why this is a quality of the Pavayaka Bhikkhu. The 30 Bhikkhus, the quality. Lord Buddha mentioned, all are the Pindapatika, all are the Aranyika, all are the Pansupulika, all are the Techivarika. But Sabbe Sanyojana, Sasangyojana, but they still with fetters. They have the fetters. Still they have the fetters. Not yet completely cut off the fetters. Still they have the fetters. Then the Bhagavantang Abhivadetva Ekamantam, this is having approached, they paid homage to the Samma Sambuddha, sat down to one side. Okay. Atako Bhagava. Yeah. Atako Bhagava etad Bhagavato etad hosi. Imeko tinsamatta paveyaka bhikkhu sabbe aranyaka sabbe pindapatika sabbe pansupulika sabbe techivarika sabbe sasamyojana yannunaham imesan tata dhamman deseyam yata nesam imasmin eva asane anupadaya asave chittadi muccintu. Then I occurred to the Blessed One, these 30 bhikkhus from Pava are all forest dwellers, all of alms food eater, all of red robe wearer, all of triple robe user, yet all are still with fetters. Let me teach them the Dhamma in such a way that while they are sitting in these very seats, their mind will be liberated from the pain by non-clinging. You see, because Lord Buddha thought, maybe if I going to teach Dhamma for them during that period, in this seat, their minds will be liberated from the pain by non-clinging. Okay, now you also have to understand, this is the Lord Buddha's, the Lord Buddha can see, can read their mind, no? Then even the Lord Buddha know the what is the pure and right medicine for the cut off the defilement. That's the Lord Buddha start to admonish. The best one addressed those bhikkhus. Thus bhikkhus, Venerable Sir, those bhikkhus replied, the blessed one, and said, now Lord Buddha going to teach and admonish for them. Anamataggo yam bhikkhave sansaro pubbā kotina paññāyati avijjā nīvaranānaṁ sattānaṁ tanhā saṅyojanaṇa sandhāvita sansarana. Because the sansara is without discoverable beginning, first point is not discerned of being, roaming and wandering on, hindered by ignorance and fettered by craving. Tanki manyata bhikkhave katamannuko bahutara yangva vo imina dīge nadduna sandhāvatam sansarata sīsa chinnānaṁ lohitam passantam paggaritam yangva chatusu maha samviddhisudha kanti. What do you think, bhikkhus? Which is more, the stream of blood that you have shed when you were beheaded, as you roamed and wandered on thought is through this long course, this or the water in the four great ocean. Now see, because the how we understand the danger of the samsara. As we understand the Dhamma taught by the Blessed One, Venerable Sir, the stream of blood that we have shed when our heads were cut off as we roam and wander on thought through the long course. This long is more than the water in the four great ocean. I see. Good, the good bhikkhus. It's good that you understand the Dhamma taught by me in such a way. The stream of blood that you have shed as you roamed and wandered on through the this long course. This alone is more than the water in the four great oceans. Now you see the anyway the when the cut off our neck, no, the blood also come out. The during the samsara, we don't know how many times cut off our neck. But anyway, the after if someone going to collect our blood, and then our blood more than bigger than the four oceans. Four oceans. Now we can imagine the four oceans. There are a lot of water, no, lot of water. But this water is enough. Maybe the blood shaking the blood bigger than the four waters of the ocean. Okay. But anyway, for the long time, bhikkhu, you have been cows, and when as cows you were beheaded, the stream of blood that you shed in greater than the water in the four great oceans. You see, for a long time you have been buffalo, sheep, goats, deer, chicken, and pig. But now many of the been, no? For a long time you have been arrested by burglars, highwaymen, and adulterers. And when you were beheaded, the stream of blood that you shed is greater than the water in the four great oceans. Now you see, the samsara also very danger, no? Very, very dangerous. For the reason they say, Anamataggoyam bhikkhave sansaro pubbā kotina paññāyati avijjā nīvaranānaṁ sattānaṁ tanhā saññojanaṇaṁ sandhāvitam sansaritam. The same reason, no? Because bhikkhus, this sansara is without discoverable beginning. First point is not discerned of being, roaming and wandering on, hindered by ignorance and fettered by craving. Evam dīga rattaṁ vo bhikkhave dukkhaṁ pacchanubhotam tibbam pacchanubhotam vyasanam pacchanubhotam katasi vaddhita Yavanchidam bhikkhave alameva sabba sankharesu nibbinditum alam virajjitum alam vimochitu. The mention is for the such a long time bhikkhu you have experienced suffering, agonies, and the disaster and the swell, the symmetry. It is enough to experience revulsion towards all formations, enough to become dispassionate towards them, enough to be liberated from them. Okay? Idama vocha bhagava attamanate bhikkhu bhagavato bhasitang abhinandunti imasmincha pana veyyakaranaasmin banyamani tinsa mattanam paveyakanam bhikkhunan anupadisesaya asavanam asavehi chittadi muccin soti. This is what the blessed one said. Elated those bhikkhus delight in this blessed one stream, and while this exposition was being spoken, the mind of the 30 bhikkhus from Pava were liberated from the taint by non-clinging. Okay, now this is a meaning. But anyway, samsara life is a very danger, but nowadays we are lucky, we have got the human life during the Buddha's period. Now, because of the Buddha, because of the teaching of the Buddha, we can understand what's the karma, what's the result of the karma, and this way, what's the good karma, what's the bad karma. If the bad karma is a danger for you and for others, but when we are doing the good karma, very good for me and for others. This is the right view. But anyway, the after listening the these two sutta, you also I think understood the what is the meaning of the samsara, what is the danger of the samsara, what is the sometimes we cannot say this good or bad. This the good thing also becomes suffering, bad thing also becomes suffering. This way we have to understand. Okay. I think this two sutta, Atipunja Sutta and Tinsamatta Sutta, both are sutta very good experience for us to see the peoples and see the other things, and understand the suffering and cause of the suffering and cessation of the suffering. After we see the Four Noble Truth, very easy to liberate our mind in this life. Okay. May all of you be healthy. May all of you be well and happy all the time. May all of you be free from all the ignorance, especially avidya and tanha, and attain nibbana. So, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
There's a question on the chat, Bante. Good day, Bante. When Buddha mentioned he met 125,000 Buddhas, Manopaniti for 7 Asankheya, and he met 387,000 Buddhas, Vachipaniti for 9 Asankheya. Does this include Pachika Buddha? What is the meaning of Manopaniti?
Manopaniti by mind. Manopaniti by mind only. He's keeping my, I want to be the Buddha, I want to be the Buddha, like this. He keep my practice by mind. His speech meaning he telling for others. Now the bodhi, my way, I want to be the Samma Sambuddha. This is his speech. This is the difference.
So Bhante, Mano is mind, by mind. Vachi is by speech. Okay.
Yes.
So how about the first question about, does this include Pachika Buddha?
No mention. Because there are many of the Pachika Buddha, we cannot count. Right?
Okay, so
even though this number is only for Samma Sambuddha. Repeat after me. Idam me punyam asavakkayavaham hotu. Idam me punyam nibbanassa paccayo hotu. Mama punya bhagam sabba sattanam bhajemi te sabbe me samang punya bhavang labhantu. Sadhu, 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 Sukhi hotu, Nibbana pacca hotu, Sukhi hotu, Sukhi.